Yes, and welcome back to Xplane 11, everybody. And today we're going to be doing another FS economy flight for our group ARD Air. That's ARD Air. Go and check it out in Flight Sim Economy, and you are more than welcome to join the group. And a huge shout out to Jimmy, or James as he's known here on YouTube, who's one of the channel subscribers. He joined the group last week and has been completing a few flights. So get in there if you want to do a few flights around New Zealand and Canada. Jump on board. But today we are in New Zealand. We're here in New Plymouth. The wind conditions are calm, sky conditions are perfect in fact, and we're going to be taking a nice little trip from New Plymouth on the west coast of the North Island in New Zealand across to Taumarunui, which is just inland 50 nautical miles or so. Let's go and check out some of the flight planning that I've completed as I just try to we'll get there, and boom, there we go, we got there. Alright, so if you have a look here on little nav map, which once again I've got to say, fantastic freeware program, I've gone ahead and put in the starting aerodrome of NZNP, you can see up here, and the destination of NZTM. And if we have a look at the little map up here, you can see the path. We're just going to fly direct, why not? It's good to have it put into your GPS, which I have also done, and that way you can jump outside the cockpit and have a look around at the cool scenery. So as you can see from the vertical map here, or the altitude map, or the terrain map, or the elevation map, whatever you want to call it, flight plan elevation profile is what it's called. It's a really flat flight, so 1,000 feet is safe, but we're going to fly 5,500 feet for the 51 odd nautical mile trip. So let's jump back into our sim here. This mouse is I need to get into the cockpit. There we go. Let's boom. For some reason, there we go. Okay, that's better. So like I said, I've gone ahead and I've set my GPS up. There goes the let's zoom in a little wrong way. Zoom in a little bit so it's on there. I've actually, it wouldn't let me actually put in NZTM as the destination, so I had to put in the NDB that's sitting right there near the airport. For some reason that didn't work, I'm not too sure why. It put me way out 600 nautical miles away, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research around that. But let's just click on that and get rid of that. If we bring up our map, here we go, we've got the airport, NZNP. We're going to depart from runway 05 today. Looking at the details here, altimeter's 2992, calm wind, good visibility, real love and life. So let's just make sure that our altimeter is set to 2992, and it is, so that's great. We'll zoom back out here, so we'll press Y. Oh, let's turn the landing light off, we'll be blinding everybody in the terminal. We'll put Y back on. The engines are all started. I've just started up hot rather than go through the process, but we will start to go through the startup process from cold another time, but just to keep the video a little bit shorter. So guys, we are off. It's a perfect flying conditions today in our Cessna 172. Let's take off the parking brake and let's just move. Actually, before we go, everybody, you've got to remember to turn on FS Economy. Now this is something it's easy to forget. So we'll open up X Economy, let's log it in. We should have 3 passengers here that we're going to be taking. So if we start flight, 3 passengers, an ARD Air tourist, an ARD Air passenger, and another ARD Air tourist. There we go. Lucky I remember that. Take off the brake and let's taxi over to the runway. And I'll tell you what, so many times, well not that many, but a few times I've completed FS Economy flights, got to the end of it and realised I did not start up the client. There are actually little programs out there that will that will remind you to start the client, and they're probably a good thing. So anyway, taxiing out here, beautiful conditions. And let me just, whoa. It's a little bit abrupt, isn't it? Let me just get my landing lights and everything sorted now. Taxi light off, landing light on. Helps if we do it properly. Let's throw the yoke back on there. Let's have how much room we got going up that runway there. Oh, it looks like there's more than enough to be able to take off. So we'll just situate ourselves here in the middle of the runway. Whoa. Still getting used to the handling in this sim, but here we go. We are about to take off to the north. Let's get up to our full power and away we go. And let's just compensate for that torque that's pulling us to the left. I love that feature. We're managing to stay nicely in this on the center line here. Let that airspeed come up. Oh, I didn't really leave myself a heck of a lot of runway, did I? It'll be enough, but probably could have done with a little bit more than that, to be fair, just to be safe. Anyway, we'll take off right here. We'll look to trim the plane for 80 knots. There we go, hit 80 knots right now. And that is quite nice right there. So what I'm going to do is be a bit of a cheat here. Let's throw on the autopilot. And the only reason I want to do this really is so it gives me the freedom just to be able to have a look around that sort of stuff. Maybe let's knock this down to say 500 feet per minute. Nice, and let's engage our GPS. So we hit the nav and it should turn us slightly to the right hand side here. Let's get outside the aircraft so we can see what's going on. Lovely view. That's Mount Taranaki there in the background that you can see right here as we take off to the north. And just move ourselves around to the right hand side and onto a heading of 58 degrees magnetic, which is a little bit more west than north, but looking good. The lighting, once again, I love the lighting on this sim. But Mount Taranaki in the background, that's looking good. Let's jump back in the cockpit. We are going way fast at 500 knots. That's fine. This is not what you should do really, but let's go up to 700 feet per minute. Really, I should trim it a lot better, but we'll give it full banger right up to our cruising altitude, then we'll pull back, look to reduce the revs down and just get into a nice cruising speed. I hope everyone is well. Now what I want to say is I want to thank everybody who's been joining me for my Twitch streams, and I've managed to bang out a couple in the last week or so, which is pretty good for me, to be fair, and I'm definitely going to continue to do those. A couple of nights ago I did a Euro Truck Simulator 2 stream, and that was a heck of a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that, and we went ahead and bought one of the new trailers that you can buy and set that up and did a number of jobs, and that was a heck of a lot of fun, and had a number of people who jumped on and said hello. And the one before that I did some farming simulator, and that was a lot of fun too. That was in the weekend, so I'm going to continue to do streams. Certainly be looking to get on for a few hours in the weekend, but also during the week. Now, because of New Zealand timing, generally they'll start around 0600, 0700 GMT time. So that's like 7 o'clock at night in New Zealand, which for if you're in the USA, that doesn't really suit you too much. Because it's like 11 o'clock at night on the western side of the country, and well, whatever it is, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on the eastern side. So the weekday streams are probably a little bit difficult unless you're a bit of a night owl. If you're in the US, that is. Everywhere else in the world, it's not too bad. It's usually early in the morning or right on time if you're over here in New Zealand or even in Australia. And so yeah, I've been doing those. I'll look to continue to do the simulation and a bit of sports thrown in there too. And I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has been following me over there, and to those that actually have been donating and subscribing too. It was a real great surprise to get some donations through and a subscriber through in my stream on the weekend. So I've made my own little emote, by the way, so go and check that out. Now, one thing I won't be doing anymore is advertising on YouTube that I'm actually streaming on Twitch. Apparently you're not allowed to do that. Like, I used to just throw up a quick video that said, hey, come and join me on Twitch, I'm streaming right now. Apparently you're not allowed to do that. Someone pointed that out to me. So if you just go across and follow me on Twitch, you'll make sure you pick up those, and you can interact live with me, and I can talk absolute rubbish for a few hours, and you guys can laugh at me and give me crap. So that would be very enjoyable, won't it? So that's been a lot of fun. So we'll continue our farming simulator series. We've got Oakfield Farm going on at the moment, and we got a heck of a lot done in the last stream. So we'll look to continue that, and probably play that out for another 4 or 5 episodes. And I usually do about sort of 15 to 20 episodes for every save. So we'll look to continue to do that. And then of course Farming Simulator 2019 is approaching fast, so really looking forward to getting into that. Euro Truck Simulator, that just continues to go from strength to strength. Definitely be playing a lot more of that. And I'll also continue to do these flight sim videos because it got quite a good reception, my last one. Let's jump outside the aircraft here, everybody. It's looking good. Beautiful. And as you can see, there are a few rolling hills through this part of the country of New Zealand, but it's not exceptionally hilly. Relatively flat, really, in the context of things. New Zealand is quite a hilly country, to be fair. So things are looking good. What's happening out the side window here? Not much. I think, is there ocean traffic in Xplane 11? I think there is. I don't have it turned on at the moment. I do. Maybe I do. I can't remember. I've got it still pretty vanilla, and thanks to everybody who did suggest some add-ons, and I'll just look to slowly add on those add-ons, if you know what I mean, just as I start to build up the database in my in Xplane 11. I'm just a little bit burnt from FS6 by adding add-ons and then it crashes it and stuff like that, and because I'm enjoying the vanilla experience at the moment, I'm just going to continue to do that as I get familiar with the sim. But I'll definitely be looking to add, putting some add-ons into the game just to make it look even better than it is already, so watch out for that. Here we go, we're at 4,000 feet right here. We go up to 5,500. Everything looking pretty good thus far. Alright guys, I will get up to cruising altitude, and as I'm sort of working along our route here, I'll rejoin you, so catch you in a minute. Okay, welcome back everybody, and we're well on our way to Taumarunui. In fact, how far away are we? We are 33 nautical miles away. I'm now flying by heading as opposed to GPS, just to straighten things up a bit, because the Taumarunui NDB is actually a little way away from the airport, so I didn't want to get too far off track, particularly on a GA. But here we go, flying along nicely here on the west coast of the North Island. There goes Mount Taranaki in the background there, and the Pacific Ocean there. A little bit of haze here on a nice day. Sun's lowish in the sky just because it's sort of end of winter here, start of spring. But yeah, looking good. Coming along quite nicely. So we're doing a cruising speed at the moment of, what is it? I'm looking at my little nav map here to tell me what it is. It is, I can't actually see it. It must have dropped below my screen here. Let me jump back in the cockpit. We're doing about 110 knots. What did I say? Did I say nautical miles? No, knots. 110 knots. So we're getting along the ground quite nicely here. But I think what I'll do is I will do a bit of a jump cut, and we'll rejoin the aircraft just as we're coming close to landing at Taumarunui. So we'll catch you on the other side. See you soon. Okay everybody, welcome back as we just turn on to our final approach here at Taumarunui, and we are going way too fast at the moment. Let's just look to pull back on that, reduce some of that throttle in there. Looking to trim out to about 70 to 75 knots there or thereabouts will be quite nice, and at the moment I feel like I'm a little bit too high. So let's just get back into the, oh look, no wonder I'm doing 700 feet per minute nosedive. So this is, okay, we can get our first set of flaps on now. This will help us wash off some of that speed. Second set of flaps in right now. We're now down to 70 knots, nose down. Let's keep that speed up now, and I'm going to bang on that final stage of flaps, and I've really got to put that nose in now. My speed is washing off way too much. And let's just line things up right here. You can see the grass strip in front of us there. We're 650 feet above ground level. Oh, look at this. I've really got to get that speed up. And now the altitude's a little bit low, so let's just pull up on the... There we go. We're finally trimmed. Ha! 600 feet above ground, above sea level. This strip, man, I have not got this trimmed properly. It's safe enough, by the way, but just not quite where I'd like it to be. Need to get a bit higher here, guys. Okay, we're a little bit on the slow side, but it's not too bad. Someone's nicely mown strips down the middle of this grass runway, looking quite tidy as we come in. It's in a little bit of a basin, this aerodrome, so you've just got to be careful coming in, avoid those little rolling hills there. That wouldn't be a good scene. As we approach the runway right here, the wind is calm, crossing the threshold, throttle comes right off, looking to straighten up, flaring now, flare, whoa, that's flare, 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 oh, and we got a stall warning just as we hit the runway, which is about perfect. Wasn't too bad, but a lot smoother than that first one last time, and we'll run it out to the end of the runway right here. With the vanilla scenery here, we haven't got any exciting things to look at, so we'll just pretend that we've got a little bit of an off taxiway right here, and we'll just taxi it off to clear of the runway. Let's throw on the parking brake. Let's have a quick look at life outside. Yeah, close up. Those textures aren't the greatest close up, but yeah, in a nice little basin here. Quite a pleasant flight coming in, and a lot easier coming in from the south as I did. Not so many hills to crash into. But let's get back in the cockpit, and of course we need to stop our flight sim economy flight. So let's see, we go. What do I need to do? I've got to turn off the engine. That's right, depending on the aircraft, sometimes you've got to turn off the engine, sometimes it's parking brake. There we go. It gives us the option, finish flight. And it's done. Great. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was a flight from, let's just get rid of that, from from New Plymouth to Taumarunui in the west coast of the North Island in New Zealand. A little Cessna 172, and this was for Ard Air. So, like I say, you're more than welcome to join the Ard Air group. Come and check us out at Flight Sim Economy. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun flying our little aircraft. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Remember, smash the like button if you do enjoy these videos. Subscribe if you're new. Throw some comments down there. Tell us what you think. Tell us some flights you'd like to see. And until next time, take it easy.